Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with baked goat cheese caprese. That's right, this baked goat cheese dish is inspired by the usually poorly made caprese salad, which is mozzarella, tomatoes, and basil. And while I'm not a big fan of how that salad's usually presented, I'm a huge fan of those flavors, and they work so well in this. So we're going to start by prepping some tomatoes. Unless it's the end of summer and you can get some awesome vine-ripened tomatoes, your best bet is cherry tomatoes for flavor and sweetness. So these have been rinsed, and I'm going to go ahead and cut them in half, but at a little bit of an angle. All right, I'm not going lengthwise, I'm not going across, I'm going just like that, 45-degree angle. And you might ask why, and I don't really have a good reason. But that's okay, that's one of the best things about cooking. You don't have to have a reason to do things. It's really one of the funnest parts. So I'm going to go ahead and cut mine across like that. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and slice up some basil. So I have a bunch of basil leaves I picked off a plant in the backyard, which is why they're all kind of weirdly shaped and have spots on them. But that's okay. What they lack in aesthetic beauty, they more than make up for in freeness and proximity. So I'm going to put those leaves together. I'm going to roll them up into a nice little tight basil spleef. Yes, that is a legitimate culinary term. And then we're going to take a sharp knife and cut across into ribbons, also known as a chiffonade, if you like to use the French lingo. All right, so once that's done, we're going to go ahead and prep our ramekins. I have 2 heat-proof ramekins. I think those are like 5.5 or 6 ounce size, which is just about perfect. We're going to go ahead and drizzle in just a little bit of olive oil. And then we'll take a pinch of basil and put it at the bottom of each one. And that is ready for our goat cheese. And there it is, a log of goat cheese. I love goat cheese for many reasons, not the least of which is that it's sold in something called a log. So that's a 4-ounce log. I'm going to cut it in half to get 2 2-ounce portions. And this is just plain fresh goat cheese. This is not aged at all. All right, so I'm just going to cut that in half. That's going to make a 2-ounce piece. I'm going to place that into the ramekin on top of the basil and oil. And then we're going to surround it with our sliced cherry tomatoes. And not only are those going to add color and, of course, a great flavor, they're also going to keep that goat cheese centered and provide invaluable cushioning in case we bang the pan going into the oven. That goat cheese will not be marred, okay? So we're going to surround our goat cheese, and then we're going to season it up just a little bit. You don't want to do too much to these. All right, they're so naturally awesome as is. So I'm just going to put a little bit of cracked black pepper, a little shake of cayenne, and then to finish off, we're going to go ahead and top with the rest of the basil. And then we'll place those on our baking sheet. And before they go in the oven, we will drizzle over just a little more olive oil. And then we're going to pop those in a very well preheated 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. Or until it looks like this. It will be beautiful, it will be bubbling, and it will be beckoning. If it's not all 3 of those things, throw it in the garbage and start over, okay? But don't worry, that's not going to happen. It's going to be gorgeous. And unlike almost everything else we make, you don't have to let this cool. Throw it on a plate. I put down a little napkin so it doesn't slide. Put some toast or some crackers or some crostini next to it. And you have one of the most amazing and easiest cheese-based appetizers ever. That oven's going to tighten up and dry out that cheese just a hair. Yet it's still going to have that incredibly creamy, luxurious texture that people love about goat cheese. So like I said earlier, I'm not a huge fan of the salad. It's always made with unripe tomatoes, so I'm always disappointed. But regardless, basil and tomato have a proven track record of being incredibly delicious with creamy cheeses, and this is no exception. It's just incredible. And that right there, my friends, was the perfect bite. All right? Baked goat cheese caprese, super easy, super fast, and people will love it. So I really hope you give this a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.